The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Well, we are celebrating all of our winners from Celebrate Business, and we're thrilled to have Dalen Richardson. Dalen is actually our Diplomat of the Year for 2023.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a big honor. Did not expect it, but yeah, it was a very big honor.
So for those of you that are listening that don't know what the Diplomats are, they are really our outreach arms of the Chamber. They are the ones that help make everything that we do possible. They show up to ribbon cuttings. They show up to red carpet salutes. They help welcome people at First Fridays. Y'all are just really the face of the Chamber out there for the public, and we appreciate all of our diplomats so much. Every year, the diplomats can gain points to be a diplomat star, and so we have so many diplomat stars every year, and then we narrowed that down to one that has gone above and beyond, and it was you this year.
Well, I love this community, and I love being part of the Chamber, and I love to help celebrate other businesses.
Yeah.
And just like today, we had a ribbon cutting today, and just it's one of the things I like to do is come out and help those other people in the community celebrate their successes, their milestones, and things like that.
Well, we appreciate you. So Dalen is with TSS Photography, and you actually were newcomer of the year 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And then won Diplomat of the Year. So, I mean, like you jumped in, got it plugged in with the Chamber, and went full force.
Absolutely.
So tell us about TSS Photography.
Well, TSS Photography is actually a franchise business that specializes in sports, school, and event photography.
Interesting.
One of the things, of course, that we do would be like the Chamber banquet, for
Yeah.
example. We would come out, and we, depending on the size of the event or whatever, we would bring multiple photographers, walk around and take pictures of the people there. Depending on what the client is wanting, you might have it where you take the pictures and then collect contact information, say like your cell phone number, and then we'll send you a link where you can get a free download of the image that was just taken of you and your guests that were with you or whatever. In other cases, we just take the pictures and provide them to the person, and then we offer to sell prints and what have you to those in attendance. And with schools and sports, what we'll do with those is we'll show up, set up multiple stations depending on how big the group is or whatever. We take the pictures. We've already collected that contact information in advance, so that once we take a picture of, say, your child, well, we take pictures of your child. Okay, we're done with you. We hit a button on our tablet. Those photographs get uploaded to the cloud, and within a few minutes, you get a link saying, hey, the gallery for Annalie is available for you to view and purchase for prints.
Right.
That's
And
awesome.
it works that way with schools as well as sports leagues.
I wish we need our schools to do that, because
Yes, the program that is dated and it
it's
needs to change.
horrible.
Yeah.
We need Dalen. So if you're listening, we need Dalen to take all the school photos.
Yes, the big
so that we
like
can
envelope
choose
thing.
one, and
Right.
I don't have to have 12 photos of a photo that I'm never going to frame.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and one of the things that we do offer too on those types of events like that, the schools and the sports, is we do what's called a TKO. A lot of people refer to it as chroma key or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows us to take a picture of the athlete or the student or whatever, knock that background out, and then allow the parent to choose from 2 or 3 different backgrounds that they think, well, that works better for the outfit she's wearing, or hey, my child's in baseball. I want to have a picture of him looks like he's in a baseball stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the
That's great.
advantages we offer.
That's great. Awesome.
What type of photography do you do? So people who are needing photographers, kind of walk us through that. So do we have to be a school system to work with you, or
No.
If it's someone just wanting pictures of their children at a sports event, how does that work? What is that?
Well,
look like?
typically, it really depends. Let me put it that way. It really depends, because we do leagues. I was approached yesterday, in fact, that possibly doing a league down in Huntington. But if you're, say, just a family and you need family photos, or you just want to get updated photos of your children or whatever, contact me. We'll schedule a time, come out to your home, we'll go to your favorite park, wherever, and we'll do the photos for you. And in a case like that, I will offer minimal retouching, and then I'll put them online, and you're able to go out there and pick and choose what you want. I offer packages for families as well as the schools and sports leagues. And depending on what it is, you may get offered different types of packages or whatever. And I also do headshots. So if somebody needs a corporate headshot, then I do those. I've got a possible client coming up that they told me they needed about 13 headshots.
Oh, wow.
And we haven't finalized that, but I think it's going to come through, and looking
Good.
forward to that.
So you do a little bit of all types of photography.
Yeah, and for me, myself, I like to do nature and landscape photography and what have you. And, of course, I will post those on Facebook occasionally. And there's a few other social media sites that I'll post those on that I've done for me.
Yeah.
How did you
Absolutely.
How did you get into photography? How did that happen?
It's been over 40 years ago. Came across my mom's Brownie Instamatic, an old
Oh, wow.
box camera
Yeah.
that used 120 film.
Uh-huh.
I asked my mom, what is this? And she said, it's a camera. Can we get some film for it? You know, and she's like, okay. And I fell in love with it.
Awesome.
Very first time I shot a roll of film, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I actually went to school, and I have a degree in photography.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I took a
Right.
photography class
yeah.
in college, and I loved it. It was
Yeah.
so difficult because that was back when you developed your own film. You went to the black room and did all of that. And I think
Right.
one of the most disappointing moments was when the film, whatever happened, you'd have to put it down in the
Developing process.
developing, and I messed it up, and I was so upset that I had ruined an entire roll
Yep.
of footage.
Right. Yeah.
We're really spoiled
There was no
now.
instant gratification back then.
No, not at all.
No, we're really spoiled with all of the digital stuff that we
Yes.
can do now. It was a completely different world
Yeah, absolutely.
on film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you wanted to knock out a background back then, you had to manually cut out a mask and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work back then.
Wow. So if you wanted a green screen or chroma key, you physically would cut it out with a blade and
Yeah.
then put it
Yeah,
over whatever it needed to be.
You'd use like construction paper or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You'd use your enlarger to project it down there, and then you would have to hand cut that out. I remember seeing a deal that was on Ansel Adams, very
yeah?
famous
Yeah.
photographer. And that was some of the stuff he did to help improve his images, as he would hand mask
stuff in.
his images.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was photoshopping before Photoshop was
Before
That's
there was-
right.
Before there was software and computers.
interesting.
That's great.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Well, we know that you like to do all types. So if somebody is listening and they're in the area, how far will you travel to do photos?
Typically, I try to stay within about 50 miles of my office,
Okay.
which is out in the Pollock area.
Okay.
But if, say, there was a client here and they needed me to travel further, then I would be willing to travel further. I just have to be paid for mileage.
Sure.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally reasonable.
Absolutely.
And you retouch. So obviously we're not doing the old school masking anymore, but you do retouching on photos as well?
Do minimal retouching. We can also offer it through my lab. They have a retouching that we can put on. Say, for instance, if I were doing senior portraits, and I would take those and we could check it in the system, say, okay, they want retouching. And then if there's additional retouching, the client actually has the option to go in and put in comments and say, hey, can you do this or that? And the lab will actually take care of that for me.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
So do you have some favorite places that you like to take families to have photos taken in East Texas?
No, not really.
Okay.
I kind of leave it up to them. I do have a lady that I talked to a few weeks back, and she's like, I'm kind of a country girl, and I'd like to do something country. And so I've been looking, and I found a place down near Jasper that
Okay.
I think might work well. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the name of the place.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the what is that place over in Nacogdoches?
The Millard's Crossing?
Yeah, it's kind of like Miller's
yeah.
Crossing.
Yeah.
Except it's more of a I don't want to say a tourist attraction, but it is kind of a tourist attraction. But it's Old West themed. They have buildings and whatnot. And I haven't reached out to them yet, but I'm thinking about reaching out to them to see if that would be something that maybe we could do with this lady and her family.
Yeah. Well,
She
there's so
said
many
she was
pretty
willing to
places
travel.
in East Texas
There are.
Oh, yeah.
to take photos.
Yeah.
So.
One of the places I enjoy for doing my landscape and stuff is down at Boykin Springs. Beautiful park down there.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.
So you like to take stuff just for you personally, and this is like nature stuff. Tell us about that.
Right. I look for just about anything nature-wise that really pops. In fact, here recently, there was a beautiful sunset out where I live. And I just took my camera and I went for a walk, and I snapped several different pictures out just of the sunset. I came across, spider webs when it has the dew on it in the morning and the sun shining through it, and it sparkles. I love those. I have several pictures of those. I've been fortunate enough that I've been able to travel some, and so I've got to go to places and take landscape photography in places like Delaware and Pennsylvania and what have you.
Yeah.
And those are fond memories. Many years ago, I went on a mission trip to Billings, Montana. We actually flew into Billings, but then drove out. I think it was almost an hour from Billings to a little settlement right on the Indian reservation up there called Fort Smith. And got some amazing pictures up there of did a panorama landscape because the one of the tribal members was a member of the church that we went on our mission trip with, and he took us around on the property, actually went out onto some of the reservation land, and at one point we climbed up this hill and there was this huge valley just opened up out in front of me, and so I was like, okay, I got to take several pictures of this, and then got back home after the mission trip and stitched them together and had it printed and got a real nice panorama of that.
Oh, that's pretty.
I was up in the Dallas area before my oldest daughter moved here to East Texas, and her husband and I, we went out driving around up in the southern, I guess it was southeastern outskirts of the Dallas area, and I came across a field that had an old barn way in the back of this field, and I was like, oh man, I've got to get a picture of that. So I had them stop, and I got out, and thankfully I had a wide angle lens, and I took a really big wide angle shot of that. And of course I retouched it and enhanced it and everything once I got back home with it. But I actually had that in I want to say a 24 by 36 hanging in my living room.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I need to print more photos. I love to take them, but I don't print enough of what we did. We did a photo series for the chamber for last year's banquet, and that was
They were beautiful.
Some of the first things I had printed in a long time. I need to get back to doing that.
That's very underrated these days.
It
having
is.
physical prints.
It is, yeah.
And that's one of the things we hopefully are promoting with our business is the parents and grandparents and even the seniors, when we're doing senior and family portraits, is that you get a physical print. You don't get just something that's digital that you throw on Facebook and Twitter or whatever and forget about it in a couple of days.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Well, we just appreciate all that you're doing, and you've got so many different options that people can reach out to you if they're needing photos, schools, sporting, dance studios, things like that. And so we encourage you to reach out to Dalen and to let him see how he can help enhance everything that's going on and capture the moments. So Dalen, we appreciate all that you do for the chamber, not only as a diplomat, but as a chamber investor. We appreciate you and the work that you do for us, and we love the partnership that we have with you.
Well, I love being a part of the chamber and this community. Like I said, I've had ties here all my life, and I moved down here 30-something years ago and never looked back.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you a part of everything, and appreciate your support, and thanks for coming on the show. Where can people find you if they want to learn more, if they're interested in having you take photos for them? Where can they find you?
Primarily, you can find me on Facebook. It's TSS Photography of Deep East Texas.
Okay.
Of course, you can reach out to me via the chamber. I'm part of the chamber. I'm in the chamber directory. I do have a Twitter page. Don't do a lot out there on that one. And then, of course, they could reach me either by phone or email. And the email is daylan.richardson@tssphotography.com. And for those that don't know, that's DYLAN.Richardson. So
awesome.
That's
Well,
perfect.
thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming on the show. And
absolutely.
thank you so much for listening again this week. We truly appreciate your support. If you'll do us a huge favor, rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening. Just helps other people in our area find out about the show and people who are interested in the type of stories that we tell every week. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.